Hello. So we are on day 36. Here is the update. Um, a couple of surprises this week, but let's start with basics. So let's go math. We're still working through chapter 2. We're working through word problems. We're still hitting a lot of resistance. I'm doing every word problem and we're doing the extras. I don't think it's a curriculum problem. I think it's just a fear that she can't do it. So we're going to keep working on it. It's going slower than paced out, but I'm trying not to panic about that because we're just going to go at her pace. I did very little language arts this week. I think it's interesting because I decided to bring back spelling. I have 180 days of spelling, and we had kind of tabled it because she got frustrated one week, and she's not had it for about 6 weeks maybe. And I decided to just bring it back because I thought, well, maybe we can, maybe she's read enough or she's advanced enough. And it seems to be working okay. She hasn't been resistant to the spelling. So I think I want to keep with the spelling. So I kind of laid off some of the Michael Clay Thompson. And I also might lay off test prep. She seems to be kind of hitting a frustration level with test prep now, even though she likes it. I'm wondering if she's getting bored. So I'm thinking of putting in the spelling and pulling off the test prep and then getting back into Michael Clay Thompson next week. I realized that I hadn't talked a lot about reading, like what we're doing for read alouds. We also did not get to a lot of our social studies plan this week. So my plan is to do the election lab book from Bookshark. Pretty advanced. We're going to just keep at it, keep reviewing, and hopefully get that done before the elections since it's pertinent. And then I think I'm going to do a state study for probably continuing for most of the rest of the year. And I've been looking and I like the Waldock Way. I like her state study, so that's what I'm leaning toward now. And then I wanted to mention these series. So in Virginia, we have Virginia Studies in the 4th grade. We're not concentrating on Virginia Studies, but we are reading these called Virginia Mysteries. There's 11 of them, and she's actually in book 7. So my husband and I read these to her at night. My husband mostly, and they've gotten a lot of the way in there. So that's also adding to her information. They're kind of mysteries. She likes that. We also went to a birthday party this week. So we drove to Charlotte, and so we had kind of like a sleeper success. I talked about Sassafras Science last week, and this was a huge success. So we drove 3 hours to Charlotte Saturday for a birthday party and basically listened to this the whole way. So we finished this book this week. We did it as an audiobook. I highly recommend the audiobook. I really like the person who reads it. My daughter loves animals, so this is right up her alley. I don't know how the next book will go because she loves this. It's criticized. It's not hugely popular when you look it up. So I want to tell you that I like this. Sure, is it perfectly written? No, but it's a nice story. It's a fun story. And there is a plot, and there is sort of not a cliffhanger, but you get the sense that you kind of want to know what happens to them. And it can get pretty intense at times. I mean, there's times where you feel like they might, well, you know they're going to make it out, but I mean, I'm not sure that the kids do, right? It's sort of intense times. So this was a huge hit. So with Sassafras Science, there are a couple of other things that come. So these are the main books. And I do like having this in addition to the audiobook because when you do the activities, you can reference this. So all of the facts you need are in the book, in the prose, but then they give you a signal like with the side data. So you're supposed to, the premise is you're a scientist with these kids and you're supposed to be collecting information. And then on the activity book you do. But so they make it kind of easy because they're going to have one of these close to the prose that includes all the information on the animal. It's not hard to find. But it's, so that's helpful too. So because when we listened to it in the car for 6 hours and we needed to go back and do the activities, then we could easily find it. So I like the audiobook. I highly recommend it. It is MP3, so you have to do that thing where you pull it onto your phone. And I like having a book. So then there's 3 other things that you can get. So one is a guidebook, which I think is like a teacher's manual. I haven't purchased it. I don't feel like I've missed it. There's a lot of optional things that are included. Like I got the lap booking packet, which is an ebook. And so what you do there is each chapter has like essentially like a little lap book, and we kind of put it in her. And then you can see these, she's supposed to write, and those are vocabulary cards falling out, but she's supposed to write, oh goodness. So it's like, what are we talking about? We're talking about the desert, 4 animals in the desert. Where is the desert? Then there's these little vocab cards. And then this is from not from the desert, this is from a different one, but just to show you, there's like these little smartphones, picture of the animal, and then you're supposed to write facts here. So I showed her, so there's a ton of information in the logbook. Let me just grab these cards so they don't go. I'll show you. So there's these little vocabulary cards. So for each chapter, maybe there's 4 or 5. This one was actually quite a bit. So omnivore, carnivore, herbivore, things like that. And so there's other activities, like little matching games or things. And then there's a ton of other stuff. So in there it tells you how you might do it in a 4-day versus a 2-day. And then there's all these books you can check out from the library and other things that you can look at. And so that, I didn't do any of that. So what we've done is we read it and we've done the logbook. There's also, or we did the lap book. There's also a logbook style, which is more paragraph, and probably I should have done that so I could get her to write sentences, because when I showed her that versus this, essentially the same information, it's probably geared for an older kid, older elementary, so they would write what they learned. She was like, no, I like doing the lap book. And I think it's because she doesn't like to write. So I'm going to do one more series. If it catches, if she likes the next one, and we're going to do the lap book. If she doesn't hate doing the lap book, then we'll go from there. So I ordered anatomy, which is suit number 2. So I got the book, I got the audio book, and I bought the lap book. And then I also bought a bone game that came with it. I'm thinking about buying the coloring pages, but I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. So I'm hoping that the story keeps her learning and that she loves animals, so this was a huge hit. And so I'm hoping it, just because she loves the story now, that I've just been telling everybody that she likes it and she loves science. So sleeper hit. Who knew? Sassafras Science. Great. I'm a big fan. Even with the criticisms, I've seen all the criticisms. No one loves this. But I'm going to come down on the side of we love it. We'll see how the next volume goes. I'll keep you posted. So, talked about Virginia Mysteries. We talked about Sassafras Science. We talked about math. We talked about spelling, bringing spelling back, maybe pushing away from test prep. I know. I really want her to learn cursive. She really doesn't want to. She has learned the letters, but she can't remember how to put them together. So that's been a source of frustration. And I've bought several books and practicing. So the new thing I'm going to do, I think, is download a free cursive program from a company called Sylladot, Sylladot. I saw it at the convention, and it is a reading program, but we're not using that. I have a free cursive program, and it's color based. So you start with the black dot, and then you do like the blue and the red, and so it's color based. So we'll see. It's free. I've bought several. None of them are sticking. So we'll try this, and because it's free, we don't have anything to lose. We definitely need to work on handwriting. So I've got to think more about that. So goals for this week: push through with math, make math a priority, do a little more Michael Clay Thompson this week, or I might take a few weeks off of it and just focus on spelling and maybe test prep. Keep reading Virginia Mysteries, do some election stuff this week because we skipped last week. New science, finish up the old lap book because we need to finish all the chapters we listened to, and then start the new one and go from there. Signing off.